Chapter 60. The Silver Man. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. After eating the healing pills given by the silver-haired old man, Feng Yun and Ziling's injuries healed rapidly. In just 1 hour Feng Yun's returned to the peak condition. "Senior, I am ready to take the test." Feng Yun stood up and said. "Rest assured, the difficulty of the test will automatically adjust according to the realm and age of the candidate," the old man said as he waved his hand, and an illusory door appeared in front of Feng Yun. Feng Yun nodded to Ziling and jumped into the illusory door. After Feng Yun entered the door, then Feng Yun and the illusory door both vanished from the room. Only the old man and Ziling remained in the room. Ziling saw that Feng Yun has gone to take the test. Her mood became heavy. She was worried about Feng Yun. "Senior, do you know that Feng Yun can pass the test?" Ziling asked with some worry. "Originally, I don't know for sure, but he has some extraordinary treasure on him, so he should be 80% likely to pass the test," the old man said. 80%. When she heard the old man, Ziling's nervous face eased up a little, and a slight smile appeared on her face. "Well, I give you some benefits when he is being tested," the silver-haired old man said. A blue water, like a crystal shaped like a lotus, appeared in the hand of the old man. It contained the pure essence of the water attribute. "This is a sea heart crystal, you absorb it and practice it. It will help you to improve your talent. If you want to follow him, then you have to work harder, otherwise, you will leave behind," the old man said, and give the sea heart crystal to Ziling. "Thank you, senior." Ziling held the precious sea heart crystal in her hands as she thanked the old man. After calming down her heart, she started to cultivate while absorbing the sea heart crystal in the room. As Feng Yun teleported to a different location, he appeared in a narrow and long hall. There was a very dim light in the hall. "Where is it? What is the test?" Feng Yun muttered. "The formation method. Yes, this whole hall is equipped with a formation. Looks like to pass the test, I have to reach the endpoint of the hall." Feng Yun raised his divine sense, ready to deal with the sudden emergence of enemies, and strode forward. Snapped. As Feng Yun stepped forward, the formation on the walls flickered, then with a soft bang, a silvery liquid dropped from the wall, and dripped on the ground to form a large pool of silvery water stains. The liquid did not spread on the floor but started gathering. Finally, this silvery liquid formed a sphere with a diameter of 2 feet. Next, 2 hands, 2 feet, and a neck grow on the ball, and it quickly became a silver body. Slowly, the liquid turned into a silver person. The man opened his eyes, but there were no pupils in his eyes, they were entirely made of silver. 2 blazing silver lights flashed in his eyes as he looked at Feng Yun. He didn't talk but directly attacked Feng Yun at a fast speed. Feng Yun also slammed his foot on the ground and slipped to the left side to avoid the attack of the silver man. The punch of the silver man swept over his cheek, which has split some skin of Feng Yun. Not only the speed was faster, but the punching power was also terrifying. The silver man's body shape was folded and moved back. The movements of the silver man were very agile, and he punched Feng Yun again. "Take this." Feng Yun coldly snorted and slammed his punch against the silver man's punch. Boom! As Feng Yun's punch met the punch of the silver man, Feng Yun and the silver man, both of them were forced back a few steps. This silver man seems to be composed of liquid. It should be soft and incomparable, but in fact, its body strength is terrifying, at least far beyond Feng Yun. The 2 punches are letting Feng Yun suffer a loss. Feng Yun looked over and saw that the silver man's hand twisted, but it turned into a soft liquid and instantly restored to its original state. The healing power of the silver man was also abnormal. At the same realm, the silver man was undefeatable, almost undead. Feng Yun's fighting spirit rushed as he took the initiative to launch a counterattack. White light flashed in the eyes of the silver man and attacked Feng Yun with a powerful force. Feng Yun couldn't help but stagnate. This silver man's boxing method is very simple. It was a punch and a bang, but there is an imposing manner of invincibility in this simple punching art. Boom! Feng Yun slammed back in the wall, his brow wrinkled because of the pain of broken bones. He didn't even have the chance to launch the flying cloud steps, and the punch of the Silver Man hit the chest of Feng Yun. The Silver Man did not stop his attacks and slammed his punches at Feng Yun repeatedly. There was no life sign in the body of the Silver Man. It is still the simplest of the ultimate boxing method. The power is too big to fight with bare hands, and Feng Yun can only launch the flying cloud step, constantly dodging and retreating. Feng Yun never knew that the boxing method could reach such a height. This art was so simple, it seems that even people who had never been cultivated could perform it, but the power was stronger than any ordinary martial skill. If the Silver Man would use any martial skill, then how terrifying it would become. Chapter 61. Passing first test. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After fighting a few rounds, Feng Yun realized that he could not win without barehanded, so took out the Heavenly Slayer sword. Feng Yun used the Heavenly Slayer sword and attacked the Silver Man. First sword form. A red light shined from the Heavenly Slayer sword and slashed down at the Silver Man. But at this time, the right hand of the Silver Man melted into the liquid and extended to 2 meters, then, it became a silver-colored sword. The Silver Man swayed the sword and slashed at the Feng Yun sword. The sword art of the Silver Man was very succinct, full of simplicity but contained a powerful force. Ding! The Heavenly Slayer sword and the silver sword met, the sparks flashed. The silver sword was cut off in the half, but a silver light overflowed, and the swords cut off grew out again, became the full intact sword. Fuck this. This is just cheating. Feng Yun crushed as he saw that the silver sword grew up again. There was no vital energy in the body of the Silver Man, so the Heavenly Slayer sword could not absorb the vital energy. The Silver Man slashed his silver sword again, but this time, the Silver Man used the sword chi to attack Feng Yun. A silver light flashed from the silver sword and it rushed at the chest of Feng Yun with a quick speed. Feng Yun shocked and quickly pushed the flying cloud steps to full speed. He jumped more than 10 feet in an instant, and his eyes were full of surprises. The Silver Man was too terrifying, and he could use the sword chi better than Feng Yun, without using the martial skills. Feng Yun continued to push the flying cloud steps to the fullest, and with an extremely high speed, he appeared in front of the Silver Man. The Heavenly Slayer sword moved toward the neck of the Silver Man. The Silver Man also moved his silver sword to resist Feng Yun's sword, but the silver sword and the neck of the Silver Man were cut off at the same time. After cutting off the head of the Silver Man, Feng Yun thought that he had won, but suddenly a new head grew on the neck of the Silver Man. The Silver Man started moving again. Shit, how can I forget, this thing is not a real human being and made up of a liquid with help of the formations. If I want to stop this thing, then I have to break the formations. But how can I defeat this undead monster? Feng Yun muttered himself. As he looked at the hall, he could not see the end of this narrow hall. Feng Yun did not attack the Silver Man this time, but he ran towards the endpoint of the hall. Feng Yun was able to run 50 meters, then a clear sound heard in his front and another big drop of liquid dripped on the ground. Soon it became the second Silver Man, same as the first one. The first one still chasing Feng Yun behind, and a second one appeared in front of him. Feng Yun didn't stop his feet and bypassed the second Silver Man. But as Feng Yun was running in the hall, the numbers of the Silver Man kept increasing. 3, 4, 5. Soon 9 silver men were chasing after him. When the number of silver increased to 9th, it finally stopped. After running for 1,000 meters, there was a door that appeared in front of Feng Yun. Feng Yun pushed hard on the door, but the door was extremely firm. He immediately understood that he needed to solve the 9 silver man behind him to open the door. But how to kill this thing? Feng Yun thought to himself while looking at the 9 silver man. There was only one way to go, and that was to really smash it. Then come to war. Feng Yun's eyes flashed with violent fighting intent. He took a deep breath, ready for the final battle. 9 silver men rushed to the scene, and there was no pause. They flew from 9 different directions and launched a fierce attack on Feng Yun. Any ordinary technique was useless in front of the 9 silver men. Feng Yun used his bloodline power and the demonic flame rushed out from the body of Feng Yun. The demonic flame covered his sword. 9 Heaven Sword Art, First Form, Second Form. Feng Yun shouted and attacked the silver men. Before that, no matter how many times cut off their body parts, they grew up again, but when they faced the demonic flame, they could do nothing. He didn't know how many times he slashed his sword. The 9 silver men were cut apart into several pieces, but these parts turned into liquid after melted by the demonic flame. Soon the 9 silver men were all cut into the drops of liquid. Is it ended? Feng Yun thought as he saw the pool of silver liquid on the ground. He used almost all of his spirit chi after using the 9 Heaven Sword Art many times. Of course, his strength has increased by at least 5 times after using both Demonic Flame and the Heavenly Slayer Sword. As Feng Yun was thinking that the 9 silver men were finished, but he reluctantly found that the liquid on the ground was constantly swimming and then bending together. Soon the 9 silver men were reformed at an extremely fast speed. This cannot kill them. What should I do now? Feng Yun has no intention of giving up. He took out some chi replenishing pills to restore the spirit chi, ready to use the flying cloud steps until restoring the spirit chi, and after recovering his strength then fight back. The 9 silver men were fully formed. They took a step forward, and Feng Yun was about to run when he saw that the 9 silver men saluted him, then retreated to the edge of the wall, and the 9 silver soon merged into the wall. Past. Feng Yun was stunned, but soon Feng Yun understood that he needed to knock down these 9 silver men, not to destroy them. Feng Yun strode forward and came to the door again. He pushed the door. With a slight sound the door opened this time. There was a bright light in front of him. Feng Yun didn't rush into the door instantly but sat down for recovering his spirit chi. After 1 hour he returned to its best. Then he stood up and entered the door. Chapter 62. The Stone Bridge. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Next, what is it? Feng Yun strode across the door without fear. There was a bright and dazzling light in front of him. Feng Yun took a few moments to adapt to the brightness. He found that he was standing on a cliff and bridge in front of him. There was a very long stone bridge, at most half a foot wide, leading to the distance. The wind blew, and the stone bridge swayed like a rope, making people feel cold in their hearts. Feng Yun looked at the stone bridge that was swaying with the mountain wind. He looked down from the cliff. There was only endless darkness down in the cliff. Maybe I need to cross this stone bridge to pass the test. Feng Yun thought to himself. Feng Yun turned around and saw that the door that had led him here had been closed. No other choice, only move forward. Feng Yun slowly moved toward the stone bridge. If he fell off the stone bridge, he will be finished. The bridge was so high that even if his physical constitution was tyrannical, he will be dead after falling down. He took a deep breath and calmed his mind, then he stepped on the stone bridge. Although the stone bridge was a bridge to cross the mountains, the width was really narrow, and as Feng Yun stepped on it, it immediately started swaying. This was not the test about the strength of the person, but it was the test of the heart of the person. The mountain wind blows very slowly that it could not hurt even an ordinary person. But at this time, the mountain wind was very dangerous. The stone bridge would sway under the blow of the mountain wind like a snake was twisting. Feng Yun walking at a firm pace, his every step was powerful that it nailed on the stone bridge. After walking 500 meters forward, the mountain wind suddenly screamed, like a tornado, and became extremely violent. Feng Yun felt like a leaf in the wind, might be rolled into the sky at any time. Feng Yun runs the spirit chi to stabilize himself on the stone bridge, and step by step he moved forward. His eyes sharp as lightning noticed every small movement of the stone bridge. Feng Yun unswervingly moved forward for another 500 meters. The mountain wind suddenly became smaller. It seemed to have passed through the violent hurricane and entered a safe area. However, at this time, a loud sound in the sky could be heard from behind him, and the clouds in the sky covered with dense lightning and thunder. Boom! Boom! A series of lightning fell from the clouds and launched a crazy bombardment on the stone bridge. Feng Yun's calm mood was gone after seeing the powerful thunder force, and he quickly ran on the stone bridge, because the lightning was coming from behind. Although he knew that he can run faster than lightning, but he used flying cloud steps and tries to run faster. Run, run! Feng Yun ran in front, followed by a bolt of fallen lightning. The frequency of lightning was getting higher and higher, and the speed of lightning was also getting faster. Feng Yun didn't time to breathe properly. If he paused for a moment then the lightning would match up with him. Even if lightning would not able to kill him instantly, but if he fell from the stone bridge, he would be absolutely finished. Feng Yun had to do two work at the same time, not only run fast as he could but also to watch his feet to step properly on the stone bridge. This was a huge test for his mind. Even if he made a slight mistake then he would be dead. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Lightning pursuit speed was getting faster and faster. Even Feng Yun tried his best to run faster, but the lightning still catches up with him. When the lightning hit his boy, he felt like his body going to break apart in pieces. Many cracks appeared on the skin and blood poured out. Because of the help of the ancient fire demon bloodline, his body's self-healing power has become 5 times than any other cultivator, but even this, the injuries caused by the lightning attack were getting ferocious. Healing process could not keep up with the bolts of lightning. In 10 minutes, his clothes stained with red blood. Feng Yun's body was almost fully exhausting, but it was a do or die situation, so Feng Yun kept running. His body drenched with bloody water, but his eyes have become more firm and bright. The fighting spirit flashed in his eyes. After running 15 minutes, the stone bridge came to an end and a platform appeared in front of Feng Yun. As Feng Yun stepped on the platform, the old man in silver hair appeared in the center of the platform. Congratulations, you have passed 2 tests, there is only a final test remain to pass. A rare smile appeared on the proud and aloof face of the old man, and he said in a deep voice. Diovi Ko, this is 1,000-year spirit water, it is a reward for passing the first 2 tests. The final test is more dangerous than the last ones, you need to do your best, the old man said as he gave a small jade bottle to Feng Yun. Thank you, senior. Feng Yun took the jade bottle and sat down on the platform. After calming his mind, Feng Yun directly swallowed the 1,000-year spirit water, then started the heavenly yang cultivation technique to refine it. The 1,000-year spirit water is made by gathering enough spiritual qi for 1,000-year that has turned into the liquid state. It contained a large amount of spiritual qi. The spirit water melted in Feng Yun's body and immediately turned into a large amount of spirit energy. Chapter 63. The Sword Spirit Puppet. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Very quickly, a bright white light emitted from the body of Feng Yun, slowly enveloping his entire body. Roughly 2 days later, Feng Yun had absorbed almost the entire spirit energy of the 1,000-year spirit water, causing spirit qi inside his body to be nearly full. He was only a step away from breaking through to reach the late stage of the spirit gathering realm. Feng Yun refined all the spirit energy of the 1,000-year spirit water. Very quickly, Feng Yun's meridians were filled with spirit energy. His skin swelled up and a tearing pain could be felt coming from the surface of his skin. However, Feng Yun remained unmoved by this. He circulated the heavenly yang cultivation technique with all his might to increase his spirit power. After about 1 more day, the spirit qi in Feng Yun's body, who was under increasing pressure, finally reached its peak. He broke through to the late stage of the spirit gathering realm as if it was natural. Feng Yun opened his eyes and saw that the old man still standing in front of him with closed eyes. Senior, what is the 3rd test? Feng Yun stood up and said as he cupped his hands in front of the old man. The 3rd test is the final test. If you can withstand the sword spirit puppet's attack for 2 hours and survive, then you've passed. The old man slowly opened his eyes and said. Senior, I wonder just how strong that sword spirit puppet is. Although the third test did not sound that difficult, Feng Yun knew that the third test was definitely the most dangerous, so he asked. This will depend on the age of your bones to determine the attack power of the sword spirit puppet. However, the sword spirit puppet's weakest attack is also equal to the attack of the Supreme King of this continent. As for the defense of the sword spirit puppet, even the strongest cultivator of this world cannot break it. The old man said slowly. After learning the difficulty of the third test, Feng Yun felt a sense of fear. More importantly, his opponent was invincible in the same realm and also had an unbreakable defense. It could be said that he would be almost unable to complete the third trial. What's wrong, Feng Yun? If you're scared, then I can send you out of the trial room. The old man looked at the silent Feng Yun and said softly. No, I'm willing to take the exam. Feng Yun took a deep breath and said with a firm tone. Good, with your bone age, you can accept the lowest level of difficulty. The attacks of the sword spirit puppet will also be set to the initial stage of the foundation establishment realm. The old man said, Are you ready for the final test? All right. Feng Yun nodded his head heavily and adjusted his breathing silently, waiting for the final test. A few moments later, a black spatial rift appeared in front of Feng Yun. When Feng Yun passed through the spatial rift, he entered a strange space. Directly above the sky, there was a cold man with a sword in his hands. This man with a cold expression was Feng Yun's opponent, the sword spirit puppet. I am your opponent for the life and death trial. According to your skeletal age, I will suppress my strength to the initial stage of the foundation establishment realm. As for you, you only need to withstand my attack for 2 hours to pass. Also, when we fight later, you can use any weapon. The sword spirit puppet slowly walked through the air towards Feng Yun and said without a hint of emotion. Alright, let's begin. The sword spirit puppet moved his sword and attacked Feng Yun. His speed was fast. In a blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Feng Yun, while his sword was rushing at the chest of Feng Yun. Feng Yun didn't dare to careless, he used the 9-heaven sword art to resist the attack of the sword spirit puppet. Boom! When the sword strike from the sword spirit puppet hit the heavenly slayer sword, the explosive force directly shattered the 9-heaven sword art used by Feng Yun. When the destructive force released by the sword of the sword spirit puppet hit the heavenly slayer sword, causing the heavenly slayer sword to fall off Feng Yun's hand, while a large amount of blood spurted out from his arm. If it wasn't for Feng Yun's body many times more powerful than any other cultivator, then this attack of the sword spirit puppet would have shattered Feng Yun's arm. Too strong. If it wasn't for the heavenly slayer sword, then I would have died. Feng Yun said with some lingering fear in his mind. He communicated in his mind with the heavenly slayer sword that was dropped on the ground. The heavenly slayer sword trembled slightly, becoming a flash of light. It flew back into the hand of Feng Yun. Just as Feng Yun was catching his sword, the sword spirit puppet rushed at Feng Yun again. 2 sharp sword lights shot out like 2 beams of light and continued to hack at Feng Yun at a quick speed. With his life hanging by a thread, Feng Yun used the bloodline power without any hesitation. A large amount of force instantly filled his body, increasing his strength 2 times. Feng Yun's strength had been pushed to the limit. He quickly used the flying cloud steps. In an extremely short amount of time, he continuously did a few dodging movements, avoiding the 2 sword rays that came from the sword spirit puppet. While he was dodging the sword spirit puppet, the mind of Feng Yun was constantly analyzing the attack trajectory of the sword spirit puppet, trying to find a way to stall for time. However, the sword spirit puppet's attack was unpredictable and had no trace of its trajectory, causing Feng Yun to be unable to follow its trajectory. Your speed is not bad, but if you want to dodge my attack, I'm afraid that's not enough. Chapter 64. Passing the test. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The sword spirit puppet shot out beams of light from its gem-like eyes. The light sword break in its hand slashed out, and a huge crack appeared in the sky. It was like the mouth of a demon, quickly reaching towards Feng Yun. Second sword form, Feng Yun knew that dodging was useless. He could only try his best to weaken the sword spirit puppet's attack, to stall for as much time as possible. Chi. The sword beam that was filled with the 9 heaven sword force struck the sword shadow of the attack of the sword spirit puppet, and Feng Yun's sword chi broken after the collision without any suspense, but it slowed down the sword spirit puppet's attack speed. Feng Yun grabbed onto this moment of delay and dodged the attack. The instant Feng Yun dodged, the sword spirit puppet attacked again. Its light sword slashed through the air, causing a crescent moon arc appeared in the space that was tens of zhang long, like the descent of a waning moon, fiercely slashed towards Feng Yun. The moment the sword slashed out, the entire space became chaotic, greatly slowing down Feng Yun's running speed, causing him to have a feeling that there was no place for him to hide. Feng Yun had no choice but to grit his teeth and pour the spirit chi into the heavenly slayer sword, and also used the demonic flame. Second sword form, demonic flame. Feng Yun roared, then merged the sword art with the demonic flame. The sword shadow like a blazing sun appeared in the empty space in front of Feng Yun, hitting against the moon sword light of the sword spirit puppet. Rumble. When the blazing sun sword and the moon sword shadow collided, a loud bang noise could be heard in the space. Although Feng Yun's blazing sun sword shadow was his most powerful move, it reduced the force of the sword spirit puppet's attack, but it was not enough to block the entire attack of the sword spirit puppet. A large amount of sword energy smashed into Feng Yun's body, sending him 100 meters away, causing him to fall into the starry sky. Fresh blood flowed out uncontrollably from his body. The terrifying sword force wantonly destroyed his body, shooting towards his heart meridian. At that moment, Feng Yun could smell the scent of death. At the time, the ancient fire demon bloodline protected the heart, blocking the attacks from the sword aura layer by layer. Feng Yun, who broke out in a cold sweat, let out a long sigh. If it wasn't for the demonic flame to protect his heart, then his heart would have been penetrated. I didn't expect that with your strength, you could actually block one of my sword strikes head on and not die. The sword spirit puppet looked at Feng Yun, who was covered in blood and lying in space, and said with a hint of surprise. But even with the demonic flame protecting his heart, Feng Yun did not have the confidence to block the sword spirit puppet's attack for 2 hours without dying. At this moment, only 20 minutes had passed. Murderous light flashed in the sword spirit puppet's eyes. It turned into a ray of sword light and stabbed towards Feng Yun at a speed that was several times faster than the speed of light. With a thrust of his sword, a bizarre vortex appeared in the endless starry sky. The radiance of the entire space seemed to have been devoured, becoming pitch black. This is bad. Feng Yun could feel death approaching him from the sword spirit puppet's sword. He did not doubt that if he was unable to block this sword, he would definitely die. Do or die. Feng Yun took a deep breath, calmed his heart and mind, held his sword with both hands, and tried to contact the Heavenly Slayer sword. The Heaven Slayer sword was his only last hope in this critical situation. While contacting the Heavenly Slayer sword, Feng Yun moved his in front of him to block the upcoming attack of the sword spirit puppet. The sword spirit puppet's attack approaching him like a black storm. Buzz. Just as Feng Yun's body was about to be crushed by the black storm, the Heavenly Slayer sword in hands trembled loudly, sucked all the spirit chi from the body of Feng Yun. After that, the Heavenly Slayer sword released a bloody red light. Third sword form. Feng Yun did not hesitate, attacked with his full strength. The 9 waves of sword energy gushed forth from the Heavenly Slayer sword. The sword energy released by the Heavenly Slayer sword became a bloody red shadow of the sword. The bloody sword moved as tearing through the starry sky and slashing towards the sword spirit puppet. Break. The sword spirit puppet looked at the bloody red sword in the space and slashed down with his sword. Its gem-like eyes shone with a bright light, and a shocking sword chi pierced through the sky to meet the bloody red sword from Feng Yun. The two sword gleams clashed with each other, immediately creating a monstrous wave of energy. Endless waves of energy surged towards the starry sky, tearing it apart. While the two powerful forces clashed fiercely, Feng Yun endured the strong feeling of weakness and controlled his body. He ignored the damage to his body and the huge risk he faced and risked getting close to the sword spirit puppet. Die! Feng Yun roared. After coming closer to the spirit puppet, he slashed the Heavenly Slayer sword at the sword spirit puppet. The red light shined from the Heavenly Slayer sword as it has broken the immortal defense of the sword spirit puppet, splitting its body into two pieces. Feng Yun gasped, he almost dropped on the ground because of the consumption of the spirit chi and tiredness. I have finally passed, because of you. Feng Yun caressed the hilt of the Heavenly Slayer sword and murmured. If not for this sword, then there was a high chance of Feng Yun to die here. At that moment, a crack appeared in the endless sky, and the silver-haired old man appeared in the void. His face was filled with shock. He looked at Feng Yun as if he was looking at a monster. How did you be able to break the defense of the sword spirit puppet, that was made by divine ranked materials, and was an immortal ranked puppet? Chapter 65. The reward. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Junior has found this treasure sword by a lucky chance that helped me to fight with the sword spirit puppet. Feng Yun explained vaguely. He knew that he could not hide from such a powerful existence, so he told him about the sword. This sword. The silver-haired old man stunned as he stared at the sword which was in Feng Yun's hands. He was even more shocked when he tried to examine the sword with the help of spirit sense but got rejected by the sword. Your luck is good, you had found a top treasure. I don't know the grade of this sword, but I can tell that this sword at least an immortal ranked weapon. Although the old man was shocked by the sword, he didn't ask more about the sword. Senior, did I pass the all tests? Feng Yun asked the old man. Congratulations, you have passed the trial, the silver-haired old man said. It has been over 100,000 years. The treasure I left here finally has an heir. Before I give you the reward, you need to answer a question honestly. Senior, please speak. Feng Yun said in neither haughty nor humble manner. My name is Xiong Shoshan. My clan was also one of those unfortunate clans that have been destroyed in the ancient era. Accepting my clan's inheritance means that you have to shoulder the deep grudge of my clan's blood. This path of revenge is likely to be a path of no return. Are you willing to embark on this path of no return and take revenge for my clan? Senior, I wonder who the enemy of your clan is. Feng Yun pondered for a moment, then asked. Right now, you are too weak. You don't need to know who my clan's enemies are. You only need to answer whether you want to shoulder the sea of blood and take revenge for my Xiong clan. Some of my clansmen have fled and have been hiding in the shadow. It has been over 100,000 years, the history is going to repeat itself soon and the chaos spread in the entire world. When the time comes, you need to find my clansmen and bring them here in this secret realm. Are you willing to shoulder these responsibilities? Junior is willing. Feng Yun took a deep breath and nodded. The reason why he agreed to this was not only because Xiong Shoshan gave him an indescribable good impression. More importantly, the path of cultivation was a path of no return, and great opportunities were right before his eyes. No matter what, he could not give up. Senior, can I ask a question? Feng Yun hesitated for a moment and asked, Senior, what is the reason which causes such great destruction in the ancient era? This is something that will give you no benefits after knowing it, so I will not tell you about the ancient era. You will understand soon that there are many incredible things outside in the world. The more try to find the mysteries, the more you will be struck by these mysteries. At this stage, you should focus on cultivation and raising your strength, the silver-haired old man said while he stared into the endless void as he was remembering the past. Alright, then swear on the Tao of the heavens, and I'll give you the most precious treasure in the true spirit secret realm after that oath. The enormous head said softly. I am, Feng Yun, willing to swear on the law of the heavens to bear the blood feud of the Xiong clan and kill its enemies. I will find the remaining members of the Xiong clan and bring back them here. Feng Yun nodded and swore an oath to the heavens without any hesitation. The cultivators used to swear on the Tao of heaven to make any unbreakable promises. It can't be broken until the promise is completed. If someone broke the swear, then he will be punished by heaven law. Seeing these Tao patterns appear, the old man knew that Feng Yun's oath had already been incorporated into the rules of the heavenly Tao. His deep eyes revealed a sense of gratification, and the gaze with which he looked at Feng Yun became gentler. Next, I will give you a map to help to find the location of my clan's remaining members. As he said that, he opened his mouth. A white stream of light shot out from his forehead and entered Feng Yun's mind. In the next moment, a map formed from white light appeared in his mind. This map will help you find the location of my Xiong clan's remaining members. Remember, this land which has shown on the map is far more difficult than this secret realm. If you do not have enough strength, remember not to barge in. Otherwise, you will lose your life, the old man said with a serious tone. Junior understands. Feng Yun nodded and said. Now, I'll give you a reward, the old man said. This is 9-floor black pagoda, supreme treasure, and more precious than any divine weapon. The old man reached out his hand, and suddenly a small tower-like pagoda appeared in the air while floating towards Feng Yun. The black pagoda has 10 floors and every floor was intricately crafted and exquisite. What is the use of this tower? It is more precious than any divine weapon. Feng Yun took the little tower in his hand, moved it left and right to check, but he didn't find anything precious. You will understand soon after you became the owner of the tower, the old man said. Drip a drop of your blood on the tower and the knowledge of the tower will appear in your mind. Feng Yun did as Xiong Shoshan said. He bit his finger and dripped a drop of blood on the tower. Boom! Suddenly new information appeared in his mind. After being digested the information, Feng Yun showed a very surprised and elated expression. Chapter 66. The Black Pagoda. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. After checking the information of the Black Pagoda that appeared in his mind, Feng Yun realized that the old man was right about the Black Tower. The Black Tower was indeed a supreme treasure, precious to the point of indescribable. The Black Pagoda could change its size according to the will of its owner. It could change any size from the size of grain up to the size of 30 feet. The first precious thing about this pagoda is that this was a dimensional space magical tool. There was a small world inside the Black Pagoda, and this small world was only the outer layer of the Black Pagoda. The small world could be used for living. L.RG. As Feng Yun entered the Black Pagoda, there was enough space in the pagoda that the entire Grey Cloud town could live in the small world. There was green plain ground in the small world, but there was no living animal or beast in the small world, only grasses, and some bamboo trees. There was a 9 floors black pagoda size of 30 meters standing in the middle of the small world. This small world was only the outer area of the Black Pagoda. The inner 9 floors were in this Black Pagoda. Every floor has guarded by steel puppets. Each time you defeat one, you can climb one floor and continue to challenge the enemies above. There were rewards for defeating the enemy. The second precious thing and also most precious thing about the Black Pagoda that this Black Pagoda has countless treasures sealed in it, but to obtain these treasures you need to challenge all guards of every floor and climb to the top, which correspond to the 9 realms from Body Refining Realm to Divine Profound Realm. This didn't look very good. Even if you get through the 9th layer of the pagoda, you could only get 9 treasures. The key was that not only Feng Yun could challenge, but also anyone who alloyed by Feng Yun could enter it to challenge the floor's guards and got rewards after defeating it. The Black Pagoda was created to train the junior disciples or family members, that's why it was also called the Trial Tower. Feng Yun's body flashed and withdrew from the pagoda. He looked at the old man and said, "Thank you, Senior, for this reward. It's okay, let's go and meet with your companion, then I will send you out of this palace," the old man said as he waved his hand. Suddenly Feng Yun and the old man appeared in the room where Ziling was staying in. As Feng Yun came into the stone room, he saw that Ziling sitting in the room with eyes closed and cultivating. From the spirit power released by Ziling, Feng Yun knew that she is now at the spirit gathering peak stage. Feng Yun is now clear that Ziling also got rewarded by the old man. When Feng Yun comes close to the Ziling, who was still meditating, after sensing the presence of a human, opened her eyes and saw Feng Yun walking towards her. "Feng Yun, you come back," Ziling said in a trembling voice. Standing up, she immediately runs to Feng Yun and jumped onto his embrace. Feng Yun hugged Ziling and rotated around twice, then taking her entire body in his bosom. "I have promised you, how can I not came back?" Feng Yun whispered in her ears while he hugged her body tightly. "Yes." Ziling nodded her head. Cough. Cough, how about I send you out of this room first, then you too can have your personal space. The old man coughed twice slowly to get the attention of Feng Yun and Ziling, as he saw both of them hugging each other for a while. "Sorry, Senior." After listening to the voice of the Xiong Shoshan, Feng Yun and Ziling realized that they were not alone in the room. Ziling instantly released Feng Yun and apologized to the old man. Her cheeks became red as tomatoes because of the shame. "Yes, Senior Xiong, can you send us outside this abyss?" Feng Yun's skin was thin, he did not embarrass by this. He requested Xiong Shoshan to send them out from the abyss immediately. "Okay, I can even send you outside this secret realm, or anywhere in this secret realm." "Where do you want to go?" the old man said as looked at Feng Yun and gave Feng Yun choices. "Please send us only outside this abyss, there's still many days before the secret realm closed, I want to explore the secret realm in these remaining days." Feng Yun said as he pondered for a moment, if he walked out the secret realm before the day of closing the secret realm, then the people of 3 sects who were waiting outside the secret realm would become suspicious of him. "As you wish." Xiong Shoshan said, a white light shined from his hands and many patterns appeared on the floor around Feng Yun and Ziling. Soon Feng Yun and Ziling swallowed by the white light and disappeared from the room with white light. "I will pray for safety. The upcoming chaos will affect the entire world, you need to prepare for this." Xiong Shoshan stared space where was Feng Yun was standing and muttered to himself. A white light flashed, Feng Yun and Ziling appeared in the forest. Feng Yun looked around the forest, he was near the spot where he and Ziling first met before falling into the abyss. "Feng Yun, what should we do next?" Ziling asked as she checked the surroundings. She already had gotten the best reward from the old man, so she had already satisfied with this. "Let me show you something, do not resist and come with me," Feng Yun said and took out the black pagoda. Ziling was surprised after seeing the palm-size black pagoda in Feng Yun's hands. Feng Yun contacted Ziling with a spiritual sense, as long as someone did not resist, then Feng Yun took her inside the black pagoda. Ziling has already trusted Feng Yun, so she didn't resist Feng Yun and easily accepted the invitation of Feng Yun. Soon Feng Yun and Ziling appeared in small world inside the black pagoda. Chapter 67. First time with Ziling, R.18, you are listening at novelfull.audio. "Where are we?" Ziling said with a stunned tone when both of them suddenly appeared in a strange place. Feng Yun slowly told her about the trial and the rewards. After she heard Feng Yun, her heart became thrilled with joy. "It's wonderful. I also got an incredible reward that can increase my potential in cultivation." Ziling jumped with joy and happiness as she tells Feng this jumping of Ziling caused her those pair of firm and upright full breasts to suddenly surge turbulently, resulting in evil fire in Feng Yun's body directly. Feng Yun didn't care much about anything, holding her in his arms, Feng Yun kissed her on her lips. Ziling froze instantly, her eyes widened due to shock as Feng Yun's lips touched on her lips. When Feng Yun sucked her lips, her heartbeat accelerated many times. She wanted to move away from Feng Yun, but at that she was feeling incredible, she forgot everything. This time Ziling felt as if the whole body is filled with a happy and sweet feeling. The lips are opposite, and the lilacs are entangled with each other, both of them can't help closing their eyes, and forgetting to enjoy the moment when the open heart is in trouble. After a long time, the lips of the two separated. Ziling has a blushing face, but don't look away from her side, her beautiful eyes are closed, and she dare not look directly at Feng Yun. Feng Yun was staring at the beautiful woman in front of him, the charming face of Ziling. Feng Yun has drawn by the glorious and the glamorous look of Ziling without any reservation. Feng Yun kissed her again. As Feng Yun started kissing her, Ziling closed her eyes, slowly tasting her lips first. Feng Yun let his tongue finally move outside his mouth and touch Ziling's lips. Feeling this, Ziling also moved her tongue outside and met Feng Yun's tongue, where the two of them started entwining with each other. Gently pushing his way inside Ziling's mouth, Feng Yun began moving the rest of his body as well. While still kissing her, Feng Yun slowly pushed Ziling down on the ground below him while he got in the top. Letting his hands move all over her body, Feng Yun couldn't help it as he turned more excited and let his hands move more quickly and towards the more private places on her body. Gently moaning as Feng Yun's hands ran past her breasts and touched her nipple. While doing so, Ziling suddenly stopped Feng Yun and said, "Ah. I want to be yours. Are you sure?" Feng Yun looked at her in surprise and asked. Breathing loudly as if it was now her turn, Ziling blushed and smiled shyly. Then nodded her head a little. Feng Yun became excited and resumed kissing her. Feng Yun didn't find it hard to figure out that she was actually a virgin due to the way she moved. Quickly moving to remove the clothes Ziling was wearing, Feng Yun, who was more experienced, managed to strip her first, while she, who was doing this for the first time while making sure to not look embarrassed, was a lot slower than him. Still, the two of them quickly turned naked. Feng Yun, who never once stopped kissing her because she tasted sweeter than wine, started moving downwards. Kissing her around the neck and then playing with her breasts as well, Feng Yun teased her belly before finally stopping near her pussy. "No, it's dirty there," Ziling said. But Feng Yun didn't stop. Spreading her legs to the side and making Ziling blush, Feng Yun smiled and greedily began sucking her vagina. Letting his tongue slither its way inside the virgin pussy, Feng Yun, other than tasting how delicious Ziling was down there, started moving it, and quickly turned her wet. "Ah!" Moaning very softly since she was really embarrassed due to this being her first time, Ziling showed Feng Yun a different side of her from the way she regularly behaved. "You look so cute moaning like this. Don't you dare try and tease me, ah." Moaning while trying her best to not show how embarrassed she was because Feng Yun seemed to enjoy teasing her, Ziling thought that it would be better if she stopped him from kissing her pussy. Due to this, she tried to move his head away by using her hands, but no matter how hard she tried, she failed to pry his head away from her crotch because he who was hugging her by the waist never once let go of her pussy. "Just like you, your pussy tastes so sweet as well. Stop. Stop teasing me." Making Feng Yun chuckle at how cute she was sounding right now, Ziling felt that there was no way she could win against him in such a situation. Not teasing Ziling too long because her face, despite being filled with pleasure, looked a little like she would soon cry as well, Feng Yun, after making sure that her pussy was sufficiently wet, no longer continued playing with her pussy. Despite having taken part in removing the clothes Feng Yun has on him, Ziling was a little too embarrassed to look below and see how big his dick was. Therefore, even though she felt very curious due to having felt how big it seemed to her hand, Ziling hadn't yet seen how big his dick actually was. So, once she looked below when Feng Yun, who stopped kissing her pussy, started moving up, Ziling was truly shocked at how big his dick was. "That. You want to put that thing inside me?" Screaming a little out of nervousness, Ziling decided to put her mind on something else and not think too much about it. Chapter 68. First time with Ziling, R.18, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Grabbing Feng Yun's head and desperately kissing his on the lips, Ziling, who was sure about how bad it would hurt because she was a virgin and the dick about to take it away was so big, hoped that the kissing would serve as booze and take the edge off. Unfortunately, no matter how pleasant and nice it felt to kiss Feng Yun, Ziling could still clearly feel everything else that was happening. Touching the entrance of Ziling's pussy with his dick, Feng Yun, who could feel how wet and warm the insides were, started moving very slowly. Pushing its way inside Ziling's pussy, the head of his dick which led the way slowly spread the tight pussy which was squeezing way too tightly around his dick. Taking deep breaths and grunting, Feng Yun, who felt way too good due to how tight Ziling's pussy was, tried his best to not lose control of himself and start moving too quickly. Gently moaning when Feng Yun's dick had just barely entered her pussy, Ziling had just started to consider that she was one of those women who wouldn't feel hurt when losing their virginity. Unfortunately, not a few seconds since she had that, though Feng Yun's dick had now finally reached her hymen. Sensing the interruption which wasn't letting his dick move forward, Feng Yun decided to make it quick and painless, due to which he thrust his waist forward and broke through her hymen in a single go. At the same time, he even began playing with her boobs to make her feel more pleasure and reduce the pain. Squeezing her soft milky breasts, Feng Yun couldn't help it as his hand started playing with her baby pink nipples. Shutting her mouth tight as the pleasure she was feeling was quickly substituted with unbearable pleasure, Ziling felt like her body was being split into two pieces, due to which tears immediately welled inside her eyes. It hurts. Despite having had sex with virgin women a few times, Feng Yun still wasn't sure how it was that he should behave in that instant. Should he stop and let the pain decrease, or continue moving to make the woman feel good as soon as possible? Luckily, this time Ziling made a decision for him. "If you start moving, I'm going to kill you." Chuckling from hearing this, Feng Yun waited a minute to reduce her pain. Turning around while his dick was still inside her, Feng Yun rested his back on the ground as Ziling was lying on top of his chest. With her head resting on Feng Yun's shoulder, Ziling's face still looked a little contracted from the pain. "Give me a while to rest. I never thought it would hurt so much." Smiling and patting her head, Feng Yun now felt manly because he was the one comforting her and not the reverse like a while back. After stopping for a while, Ziling, who found out herself that she didn't need to rest for a long time, started moving on her own. Moving just her waist in the beginning, Ziling, who started with slowly taking Feng Yun's dick deeper inside her and then outside, slowly raised her upper body to make it easier for her to move. But since this was Ziling's first time having sex, Feng Yun didn't feel nice letting her do all the work and therefore once again turned around so that he was back on the top. Feng Yun started moving by holding onto her waist. Spreading her legs to the side as much as possible, Ziling moved by instinct and wrapped them behind Feng Yun's back. At first, she just left them there, but soon she started tightening them and pulled Feng Yun closer to her and his dick deeper inside as well. Once the pain disappears. This feels wonderful. Speaking her honest feelings, Ziling began asking Feng Yun to move faster because she wanted to explore more about sex. Feng Yun, on the other hand, while increasing his speed for some reason, felt that it was great to have sex with Ziling, even though she was very awkward when it came to moving and her pussy was just tight and it wasn't something she was doing in her own. Because for some reason Feng Yun felt as if Ziling's pussy was so great that it had actually been made to perfectly accommodate his dick. Once the two of them started to go at it, Feng Yun almost forgot about considering the time, due to which he spent a few hours with Ziling. At the same time, Feng Yun's dual cultivation start working. Both of them have a spirit gathering base, so both have mutual benefit. Feng Yun got more benefits, but Ziling is not in the loss either. Having dual cultivating with Feng Yun, Ziling's spirit chi became purer and firm. After a long while, Ziling was now physically paralyzed on Feng Yun's bosom, with a layer of pink on her body. Feng Yun caressed Ziling, making her enjoy the aftertaste of sex. After a long time, Ziling lightly sighed with infinite complacent, and just like a kitten, she curled up and withdrew herself in Feng Yun's bosom. Join Discord server https://discord.gg/pz vs JWS. Chapter 69. If you touch her, I will kill you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the deep forest, two people were running at a fast speed. Behind them, many peoples kept chasing them. The features of the man were extraordinary, but there was a good deal of damage to his body, his hair was a mess, and he looked somewhat embarrassed. There was somewhat angry and indignation expression on his face. The woman has a tall and graceful figure, her thin waist like a snake, waves caused by her big chest were magnificent as she was moving through the forest, her body was full of temptations to men. Two people in the front which were Yen Xilan and Jing Tian, they were chased by the Black Water sect's disciples. Do you think we can leave this secret realm safely? Jing Tian said as tried to run fast as he could. Just run, we have to find more disciples from our sect as soon as possible. Yen Xilan said as thought to herself, Feng Yun, where are you? She has searched for many days but could not find Feng Yun. A few days ago, she met Jing Tian, then both of them decided to explore the secret realm together, but they were soon discovered by the disciples of the Black Water Valley. If there were 2 or 3 people then Yen Xilan could defeat them, but they came with the entire group. Because of the order from the elders that was to kill Feng Yun and Jing Tian in the secret realm, the disciples of Black Water Valley have been tracking Feng Yun and Jing Tian. Although they were not able to find Feng Yun, they still got Jing Tian and Yen Xilan. Fuck, how much longer you run from us? Ren Qingsheng's eyes were filled with a murderous aura, and he had a savage expression on his face. He held a long sword in his hand as he angrily roared while running behind the Yen Xilan duo. In order to kill Feng Yun or Jing Tian, he had spent most of his time searching for their whereabouts, but to no avail. This caused him to be extremely furious. Now he had finally found one. Although he did not find Feng Yun, he still got Yen Xilan. Yen Xilan came with Feng Yun, so they might be able to find Feng Yun through her. Bove unknown to them, Yen Xilan and Jing Tian were running towards the place where Feng Yun and Ziling appeared after the teleportation. As Yen Xilan and Jing Tian were running for a few hours, suddenly 4 people appeared in front of them. They were Wendisheng and his friends from the Azure Cloud sect. Wendisheng was also surprised when he saw Yen Xilan and Jing Tian, but when he saw Ren Qingsheng and his group behind Yen Xilan, Wendisheng soon understood the situation. Ren Qingsheng was also stunned after seeing disciples of Azure Cloud sect. He looked at Wendisheng cautiously. If Wendisheng has interfered between him and Yen Xilan, then they would not able to kill Jing Tian and Yen Xilan. Wendisheng was charmed by the beauty of Yen Xilan, as he looked at her smooth orchid-like skin and well-developed chest. Immediately, a burning passion arose in his eyes. A hot and beautiful woman like Yen Xilan had completely aroused the desire to conquer the world. Looking at the relatively handsome face of Wendisheng, Yen Xilan furrowed her brows slightly. There was a disgusted expression on her cold and elegant face when she noticed lust in Wendisheng's eyes. Yen Xilan, this secret realm is filled with dangers. I wonder if you're interested in traveling with me. Wendisheng came in front of Yen Xilan. There was a smile on his face as he invited Yen Xilan to join his group. Once she agreed to his request, Ren Qingsheng has to think twice before attacking Yen Xilan. He was sure for her safety she would accept his proposal. But the reality was out of his expectation. Not interested. Yen Xilan coldly replied. Her body flickered as she prepared to leave. You're not interested, but I'm interested in you. Wendisheng said with ill intentions, Yen Xilan, if you are willing to be my woman, I can let my grandfather accept you as his last disciple. I can also provide you with unimaginable cultivation resources to help you break through the Foundation establishment realm. Fuck off. Hearing Wendisheng's arrogant words, Yen Xilan's face turned ugly. An unparalleled sword light shot out from Yen Xilan's sword and slashed towards Wendisheng. She only wanted to intimidate Wendisheng, so he stepped aside from the escaping path of Yen Xilan and Jing Tian. The careless Wendisheng's body was slashed out by the sword of Yen Xilan, caused blood to flow out from his chest. After attacking Wendisheng, Yen Xilan moved her feet quickly to run. Jing Tian naturally followed after her. But before they could even take a few steps, the disciples of both sects surrounded them. I gave you a chance but you refused it. Wen Disheng has a furious expression on his face as he looked at the wound on his chest given by the Yan Xilan. Don't kill her, we need this witch alive to find the Feng Yun. Ren Qingxing shouted, there was a pleased expression on his face. When Wen Disheng invited her, he thought he lost his chance but that foolish girl didn't accept Wen Disheng's invitation. Now with the help of Wen Disheng, he could achieve his goal more easily. If you dare to touch her, I make you regret it. Just as everyone were ready to launch attacks, a loud voice came from some distance. Soon two people came into view of everyone. Wearing white clothes, a sword in his right hand, a handsome man and beautiful as fairy female appeared in front of public. Feng Yun. Yan Xilan exclaimed as she saw the face of the handsome man. With Feng Yun there was Ziling also came with him.